At the beginning of 2018, a group of Japanese businessmen found themselves sitting in an air-conditioned office room, preparing for a major split within their company with sweaty palms and nervous anticipation. These businessmen were in charge of the famed A1 Pictures, an anime studio that was established by Sony's animation production division, Aniplex, back in 2005. By the time it was 2018, A1 Pictures had already established itself as a big player within the industry, having produced countless worldwide sensations such as Black Butler, Sword Art Online, Your Lie in April, and many others. With a juggernaut like Aniplex funding them, A1 grew as a studio as the years passed by, and nearing the end of the 2010s, they had two major studios creating anime under the A1 name. Due to their growth, A1 Pictures found themselves operating on an increased number of projects with increased workload, which led to management growing more difficult in the process. Their main studio was named the Asagaya Studio, and the other was named the Koenji Studio. As both studios took on more anime adaptations, A1 found themselves speculating how they could maximize recognition and optimize their workload for both studios, as they both had unique identities despite being under the same umbrella. So, these businessmen gathered and decided to split the Koenji Studio from the Asagaya Studio under a new name that would give it a new brand identity and a vision. First, they had to take on one of the biggest tasks that faced them when establishing a brand new studio: coming up with a name. Splitting from A1 Pictures is a big deal. Without a big name like that, how can we ensure that our new studio doesn't collapse? We need an eye-catching name, a name that lets people know we only make high-quality anime around here. So we're gonna need a whole lot of luck too. What about Clover? Like a four-leaf clover? Clover. That works. Alright, CloverWorks it is. Wait, no. And so, the animation studio known as CloverWorks was born. Okay, maybe it didn't go exactly like that, but by October 1st, 2018, CloverWorks had opened its doors, ready to hit the ground running as a new, exciting name in the anime industry, helmed by longtime former producer at A1 Pictures, Akira Shimizu. He was quick to gather well-known producers in the anime industry, such as Yuichi Fukushima and Shota Umehara, who had tons of connections to high-profile directors and animators that would be on board with their new anime projects. At first, production was a bit rocky as they were a newly established studio, and some of their shows didn't have the blessing of a good schedule, such as Darling in the Franxx, which was done in collaboration with Studio Trigger, and Persona 5 the Animation. They had some well-received adaptations out, such as Bunny Girl Senpai and the first season of The Promised Neverland. But then we got the second season of The Promised Neverland, and to say it was a complete disaster would be an understatement. But after The Promised Never Fumble, CloverWorks started cooking, putting out incredible anime adaptations left and right consistently throughout multiple anime seasons, leveraging veterans in the anime industry to bring out the best of their studio. Horimiya, helmed by veteran anime opening hit director Masashi Ishihama, was an instant hit in the rom-com scene, following the blossoming of love between Kyoko Hori and Izumi Miyamura. Horimiya was followed up by My Dress Up Darling, directed by Keisuke Shinohara, and it had the internet drooling because of the incredibly heartfelt story of a gentle man and a cosplayer. Nah, I'm kidding, it was because of this. Wait, no. Put that lotion down. Don't pause the video. CloverWorks is just getting started. With these two anime, CloverWorks proved that they could adapt romance anime quite well, supplementing them with fantastic visuals and great character acting. Although many thought Horimiya had whack pacing since it wrapped up in a season, I still really enjoyed it and honestly thought if they were gonna try to adapt the whole manga in a season, this is how they do it. Apart from Hori's masochistic tendencies, Horimiya was excellent. My Dress Up Darling, despite having quite a bit of fan service, also ended up being a very touching anime. No, not that kind of touching. And seeing multiple incredibly animated scenes that elevated the source material week in and week out was amazing. But were rom-coms the only kind of anime CloverWorks were going to be known for? Nope. Because in 2022, CloverWorks teamed up with Studio Wit to create the worldwide sensation known as Spy X Family, combining hilarious slice-of-life shenanigans with great action that appealed to the entire world. Although Spy X Family was a massive success and had everyone talking about it, there was another anime that would be released by CloverWorks later on in 2022. An anime so incredibly well adapted and creative that it made CloverWorks shoot up to the top of my favorite anime studios. This anime is Bocchi the Rock. Bocchi the Rock would be crowned as this generation's K-On! Minus all the weirdos and war crime enthusiasts that tend to watch K-On! I really don't know what's up with that. Like K-On!, Bocchi the Rock was able to combine quirky, cute anime girls and rock music, following the story of an extremely introverted and social anxiety-ridden girl named Hitori Goto, who happened to be quite cracked at guitar. She gets reached out by a social butterfly of a drummer named Nijika, and before she knows it, she's in a 4-person band that's set to create music and perform in front of audiences. Bocchi the Rock is originally a 4-koma manga series, which means for its adaptation, CloverWorks was able to be as creative as possible, and what they did blew my mind. Helmed by the genius Keiichiro Saito, who also directed the masterpiece known as Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Bocchi the Rock's anime took creativity to heights I didn't think it could reach. Bocchi's anxiety is portrayed in so many unique ways that are over the top, but really make the viewer realize the kind of mental torture she's going through in different social situations. Whether it be imagining herself being cast away by the people who want to get close to her, or hiding in a cardboard box, all the different visual metaphors that are used in Bocchi's anime hit and really elevate the source material. I found myself wanting to cheer Bocchi on so she could become the greatest guitarist to ever live, while laughing at how awkward she she is at moments and how she manages to find utter doom in every situation. Seeing her do things like bursting into a million pieces when her bandmates were in her room or letting out guttural screams really drove home how bad her anxiety is. And although many people think she may be cringe and over-exaggerated, as someone who's dealt with these problems, I really get where she's coming from, and it makes the show hit so much harder. In my eyes, Bocchi the Rock is the best CloverWorks adaptation so far because of how creative it is when it comes to depicting Bocchi and the journey she goes through to form comrades and get over extreme anxiety that I'm sure many of us have felt before. The creativity in Bocchi the Rock's adaptation is unmatched. I mean, there's literally an episode where the staff create a physical zoetrope to show the trauma Bocchi felt from her sports festival. This is beyond animation. This is true love for the source material. With Bocchi the Rock, CloverWorks proved that they were a versatile studio that was willing to take on any kind of material and adapt it in the most creative way possible. Rom-coms are one thing, but being able to perfectly adapt an anime about music and filling it with very impressive visuals from guitar fingering to hilarious gags is nothing short of incredible. But CloverWorks wasn't going to stop at that, and so far in 2024, they've released 2 shows that have had quite a bit of combat in them, and to no one's surprise, they look amazing. The first is Windbreaker, a delinquent anime following the journey of an outcast named Haruka Sakura after he joins the infamous Furin High School and learns what it means to be truly strong and be a leader that everyone can rely on. As expected from a delinquent anime, Windbreaker has a ton of fighting and every single fight scene looks incredible. The smears used for punches and kicks had me clapping my hands, and I was a huge fan of the dynamic camera work. I was very interested to see how CloverWorks would consistently adapt hand-to-hand combat, since choreographing and animating the kind of delinquent fights in Windbreaker is quite difficult without extremely talented and capable staff. Thankfully for Windbreaker, it's directed by Toshifumi Akai, who directed the extremely well-received Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia. God damn, these long titles are like Sony product names. He's also a long-time industry veteran, having worked on Toradora, Magi, and Tulaveru. The other anime that aired recently from CloverWorks is the Elusive Samurai, which in my opinion is the best-looking anime of 2024. It's an adaptation of a manga with the same name, written by Yusei Matsui, who you may recognize as the author of Assassination Classroom. The Elusive Samurai is directed by veteran Yuta Yamazaki, who also worked on anime like Laid Back Camp and Wonder Egg Priority. The Elusive Samurai's anime adaptation was bound to be special, as it was an adaptation of a well-known mangaka's work, but it was so much more than what I had anticipated. It follows the historic retelling of the life of Tokiyuki Hojo after the fall of the Kamakura shogunate, but with a shonen twist. This anime is drop-dead gorgeous. Every background looks like it belongs in a museum, and the storyboards used throughout the Elusive Samurai are top-notch, whether it be Tokiyuki creating after-images of himself in the middle of a fight due to his speed, or the art style changing in certain situations. The creativity found in the Elusive Samurai is unmatched. It made me care a lot more for a story I didn't have that much interest in when I first read the manga, which is a key sign that the adaptation did what it set out to do. My favorite part about all CloverWorks anime is that they look so aesthetically pleasing to the eye, and this is in large thanks to the composition being done by the photography department at CloverWorks. Brilliant staff like Yukiko Nagase and Yuya Sakuma are doing an excellent job on composition for shows like Windbreaker and Horimiya, and I can't overstate how important their work is when it comes to matching the extremely pleasing aesthetic CloverWorks consistently maintains. The best part of all of this is that CloverWorks is just getting started. It was recently announced that CloverWorks will be behind the adaptation of renowned romance manga The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, also known as Kaoru Hana wa Rin Tosaku. I'm excited as ever to see what CloverWorks has in store for us and what they'll do in the coming years, given that their experience is only going to keep growing. President Akira Shimizu once said that anime is essential for trying times, and it's always important to keep creating anime, and you can see his vision in each and every CloverWorks anime.